Still hoarse voice, but again, we're going to make it work. This video is about charts. In the intro, you would have heard me mention music charts as something that we're going to be covering. And I want to spend a little time on these charts because these charts are dear to me, but most importantly, they are part of the reason this entire venture is even happening. Um, so again, I am a lover of music history. Not all history, but music history is part of it. And spend some time working through music charts to cover a piece of Jamaican history, not from the point of what is told by a historical text or what is told by historians, but a story that is told by musicians. And a big part of the charts is popularity. You would have heard me mention that earlier. Popularity is subjective. My popular and your popular, two different populars. As a result, some serious work had to go in to get these charts done. So let me start by bigging up a few people who took the time out of their very busy schedule. And when I said people, I'm talking about practitioners of Jamaican music, persons who either studied the music by playing it, or persons who study the music by breaking down everything we know about the background of the music to tap into the culture. So let me start by telling the story of how these charts came together. Kevin O'Brien Chung, big up yourself. We are all familiar with the book Reggae Roots. And if you scroll to the back of Reggae Roots, what you're going to come across is a set of charts that captured popular, can be used as an index of popularity in Jamaican music. For me, I didn't just want to take that and run with it. I wanted to dig a little bit deeper. Because, for example, that text presented like top 25. Mine would have been top 20. But talk to Kevin, had a mini consultation with him, and he said, you know, the person I really should be speaking to is Frankie Campbell from Fab Five. So if you're all familiar with the band Fab Five, Fabulous Five, Frankie Campbell from Stages, a virgin who didn't keep the work that he collected over the years to himself. Had a consultation with Frankie, and Frankie said, well, here what happened. I can't give him a book, which I respect that because I wouldn't give up my book as well because this is how important it is. But he says to me, take pictures of what you want. If you want to take pictures of the entire book, do that. So got that opportunity and I took it. But I also wanted to be able to go further than what was presented in our top 20. So I spent some time in the Jamaica National Library, downtown Kingston. So the staff down there, this was probably 2012, 2013. So I don't know if the same staff is there. But these were persons who facilitated me accessing the charts. They facilitated my access to the charts from in the form of newspaper clippings. So I had to comb through newspaper, comb through archives. And this is how important documentation is. And this is something that you're going to hear us talk about from time to time. Documentation is important. Spend some time combing through the newspapers, big stacks of newspapers. to pull every single chart that was accessible to me then. And there's a focal period of these charts. So I wanted to tell a story. Jamaican independence, at the point of filming, Jamaican independence is tomorrow, the 6th of August. I wanted to capture the music charts as much as I could get as close to independence. So the focal period of these charts, 1962 to 2012, 50 years. And compare what I found in the archives to what I had with Frankie from Frankie's system, and arrived at a 50 chart system. So again, 1962 to 2012, if my math is correct, that's 50 years. So what we're going to be doing in this is to be going through a few years. I want you to take the ride with me through those 50 years. So we're starting in 62, but I won't be going through all the entries. I want to present to you the top 5 for each year. And remember, we spoke about the whole idea of payola, where if you are familiar with the 90s, because that was my pivotal period where music where music stood out. This was at the point in time when I actually start paying attention to what was being documented in the music. And in the 90s, at that point in time, my access to the music, apart from going street dance here and there, now and then, was from the radio. And the radio was a pivotal radio in Jamaica, as it is in other elsewhere in the Caribbean, was important to how we access what was popular. But at the time, and we still have that going on, because you talk to any practitioner in music, they'll tell you it still exists. Payola is not something that goes away, and I was warned against it. So how do you ensure that the charts that you are basing a lot of your statements on are accurate? As close as possible, you put together what I classify as a group of knowledgeable others. These are individuals who, as I mentioned at the onset of this video, are persons who live the music, whether through playing out at parties, playing on radio, studying it, writing about it. And I tried to get as many as possible. And the ones who vetted and verified that whatever we had in these charts were accurate were the ones who answered the call, the ones who spared no time out of their busy schedule might add. And I know this because it was impromptu sessions. Me calling and saying, yo, you can meet today. And they say, yo, busy, but meet me at such and such place. And we sit down and chop it up and present the charts, and we have conversations. So moving from Frankie, so the journey is start with Kevin, talk to Frankie, get whatever I needed to get, National Library, put together the charts, create a system of ensuring that a ranking system, because one of the things that you'll come across in the National Archives is that there wasn't always an annual chart present. What you would have gotten is weekly charts. So they'll put the top 20, top 50, however they got it, but the top 20 was always consistently present. What we found in that is you compile the charts from the annual charts, compile the annual charts from the weekly charts, and you have to create a system of a point system, appointing points to each entry. And if they were continuous and at the position that they were ranked, they would get a certain allotment. So after these 50 annual charts were now compiled, here comes the part where they now had to be vetted before you can say, all right, my charts are as good as they are going to get and they are solid enough for me to base information on. I had to get them verified. So Journey, Kevin, Frankie, National Library, then we drop and start having conversations with, again, members of the knowledgeable others. The first person who answered the call, if you know this bridging, you know this man always busy, but never had no issue. The only issue we had was time alignment, and that was Capo, Captain Colin Hines. I remember we met in Jackson Records on a very busy day in a nice atmosphere. But book and paper out, going through chart by chart, and he would say something like, this entry can't be there because at this point in time, this was a more popular song. And you would now get notes from everybody and then compare the notes. So it wasn't just about entries. It was also about their ranking. So you may have a song, Capo will say, yeah man, this song is an important song, but it shouldn't be ranked higher than this one. And it's not just a matter of opinion. The story was told why. And this is one of the reasons why you want to have conversation with persons who are interacting with the content at that point in time. Sparky, big up yourself. Trisha Spence. I remember going down by Zip, and she said, well, I come off here this time, but, if you can be here at this point in time, then I can squeeze you in. And I remember I was outside Zip, talking to the security through a hole in the wall, waiting. I want to talk to Sparks. And him say, yo, him call upstairs and them say, yo, she on here so she can't talk. Tell him I'll wait because, she expect him. And as soon as she come off here, radio, you're on your radio for the whole period of time. And you know how energetic. That's a whole heap of energy expelled. But she still found the time to sit down. And in that conversation, she told me that a lot of what she knows about the music, she credits Colin Hines for it. And when you hear her talk from time to time, when Francois died the other day, this was somebody she said had a significant impact on her entire career in music. So Sparks, big up yourself. So Sparks answered the call, Capo answered the call. There were other persons that we contacted who said yes and show up, and them never show up. But that's how life is. My old lady always say, who have tough peas, look for fire. So that's a part of the disappointment. Disappointment is part of it, and it leads you to people who you never think you would actually meet. Because the next person I had the opportunity to sit down and talk to was somebody who I grew up listening to on the radio. This was somebody who introduced me to a lot of the rocksteady and the scat, the Sunday afternoon music that we know about on IRFM. So Bob Clark had to drive to Ochi. At this point in time, I think I don't know if he's still at IRE, but at this point in time, Bob was a busy virgin, because I remember having to go meet him twice. The first time went there, him showed back to the not going work out, and you're disappointed, but he didn't just say no, he rescheduled. And the conversation was one that took me through, took me back to a point where I felt like I was listening radio again, because a lot of the songs that Bob is accustomed playing surfaced on the charts, and I was eager to hear from Bob, um, you know, his opinion on not just the ranking but the entries. So we had conversations about that. I made my notes as well, and the the conversation was a very vibrant one, and I thank Sir Clark for the opportunity to just sit down and chop things up about the music, because it's important that you don't just stick to your own opinion, especially when you're dealing with um, something as sensitive and delicate as music charts. Um, so we stuck to music for a while. A lot of the persons who you would have heard me mention are persons who lived the music through entertaining people. The other side of the coin, though, were the ones who did some research behind the scenes and have been part of the culture for a long time, not just studying from afar. So Dennis Howard, if you know Dennis, is a very busy man, as are the others on the list. But Dennis was the one who said to me, I don't know when I'm going to be in office again, but if you are still around at the point in time when I am available, then we can talk. And we did talk. We did have a conversation in his office. We spent some time going through the charts, and he commented a lot, not on the entries themselves only, but the history that is important that accompanies the charts. And so the knowledge that we are going to be covering, not just in that as it relates to the music charts, but to this whole venture, is, as I mentioned, through research. Is not saying this is what happened and it's my opinion and we're standing by that, because that create controversy, and controversy going to come with this channel as well, because not everybody is going to agree with entries, opinions, analyses, but that is one of the reasons why we stay away from subjectivity. We try to be as objective as possible, and that comes from doing some research. If you are familiar with Digital Rising Star, then the next brethren on the list is no stranger to you, Clyde Mackenzie. Clyde's interview was one that was very, the consultation with Clyde was a very interesting one, because I had to be consulting with Clyde on the go. So he went to the office. We are there having a conversation. Going here, we're having a conversation. Because if you know Clyde, he is involved in a lot of the behind the scenes work with anything to do with Jamaican culture and Jamaican society, Jamaican knowledge as it relates to popular culture as well. So Clyde was someone whose consultation and conversations were on the go. And though moving, they weren't any less detailed, because you are the one who have to be making the notes, or talking and making notes out of everything that is being said. And that was something that was eye-opening, because everybody's take, though they agreed on the destination, that is the music charts, the journey to get there was different, because, and that's why I'm trying to get people to understand, the experience that you have, the life you live, the lived realities will shape your understanding of the world in which you live. And that's why we have the idea of the knowledge about others, because their own experiences, along with what they know about the music, shape what we have here as the 50-year chart. So, in a nutshell, we're going to cover some of these, if we're going to try to see how much we can get you everything, because it's 50 years and we have a lot more to do. But don't fear. If it means that you select a year and we run with it, we're going to find a system to break down charts and talk about the culture around the charts at respective periods in the history of Jamaican popular music. So, charts can be used for research. You just have to ensure that you go the full extent to verify their accuracy or near accuracy, because the details, the statements that you're going to be making are not just to inform others. It's about tapping into people's lives and how they live, and the realities that may elevate. So what was going on in Jamaica at this point in time, why this song was popular? Because don't just feel like it's just a musical composition that make a song popular. If you know Jamaican music, a big part of it is tapping into the society around, and whatever is going on in society is whatever you get. So at some point in time, we are going to be covering these charts, and each time we unlock a next top 5, we are going to have a sit down surrounding the unveiling of each. Yeah. So check them out, and we'll talk from time to time. Yeah.